All right, welcome to the Anything Goes podcast, where we talk about basically anything. Right now, we are going to be talking about video games, movies, anime. Not so much sports. We don't really do much sports around here. And my co-host Anthony, please introduce yourself.
I'm Anthony. Um, I'm 20 years old. I like playing
Don't.
video games. I like
I,
watching anime.
I don't think they really care if you're 20 years old, but
Well, what if they did, dude?
well, maybe they do. I don't know. Well,
Well, they
and
sure as hell gonna care that you're a boomer, dude. That
okay,
you're
well, you know
50.
what? Fuck you, dude. I don't care. But anyways, we have two guests in our chat today, Carson and James. And they will probably be helping us today. I don't know if they're going to be regulars or not, but they're here for today. So,
Um,
hope you guys enjoy. All right, here we go. So, Anthony, did you do any research on Fortnite no build?
I mean, I've watched a few streams, like clips of
Yeah.
like the no build, and people are like panicking and like trying to pull out their builds, and they just can't because they're, you know, not good at the game.
Yeah, I actually have been playing. Me and James have been playing probably the last like 3 nights ago. We played Fortnite no builds, and
Really?
honestly it's a lot of fun. Like it's actually gun. It's actually like I want to say you actually have to shoot somebody, but like you don't have to worry about somebody actually building a like big mansion of a base to sit in and just shoot you. So it's nice. I think it's good for the game. You know, I'm not a huge Fortnite person, but it is
Is
fun to
it
play it.
is it an LTM? I heard it was an LTM.
No, they actually made it permanent. It was an LTM. It was for 9 days at the beginning of Chapter 3, Season 2. It was for 9 days, and then you had all the big streamers that come back, like Ninja started playing more, Nick Merckx, Tim the Tatman, Tfue, all of them came back, and they were all playing Fortnite no builds, and they enjoyed it a lot because you didn't have to worry about somebody turbo building, because I guess their turbo building's a thing in the game. You didn't have to worry about them building so much. Um,
Well, turbo building was just you could hold down the mouse click button and it would just keep building,
Yeah, and
right?
that's what a lot of I think so. That's what a lot of people had the problem with is that you could just do that. You didn't have to actually press the individual buttons to place. Um,
Yeah.
it's good for the game because it kind of brought it back from where it was at, and it wasn't in the worst state, but it wasn't in the best state either. I mean, Apex had kind of like overtaken it a little bit, I think, because you had a lot of people going to Apex. Um,
With the no building thing, what makes it different than like fucking like PUBG or anything like that? Like what makes it different now that there's no builds?
what makes it different?
Yeah, it's like the same as like
So,
PUBG now with no builds, right?
kind of,
Third
yeah.
person battle royale.
I mean, it is that kind of. I mean, they did add a overshield that gives you 50 shields. So like when you get shot, the shield then cracks and then it takes away the rest of your other shields. So like you know how, like you got the like slurp like the pots and stuff like that you can drink, and it gives you
Mm-hmm.
more shield. Yeah, it gives you already have a 50 overshield, which you usually will they'll do
So it gives
damage
you
to.
50 health to respond to like somebody shooting at you, so you
Yes.
don't die immediately.
Yeah, I mean I think that's in the I think that's also in the regular that's in the build mode too. They have a new sprint feature. It's kind of like a sprint boost where like you got a duration amount of time where you can actually sprint and slide every single it's like a stamina bar, but it makes you run faster. So they got that. Really I don't really see anything. It's I mean, of course the gameplay is different, the weapons are different compared to PUBG and all the other games, but at the same time, I don't know. Just the game, just the gameplay's gotten smoother over the last couple of years. It's just gotten better. I mean, it's just fun. You know, it was fun playing it when we did. We played duos, and it wasn't anything like I didn't have to. And honestly, it we didn't. We rarely ever got third partied, and that was what was really cool. Is we might have ran into a couple of like one team, and then all of a sudden another team showed up. Just so happens that that's the way they were rotating. But like majority of the games that we played, we weren't really third partied like you do in Apex, and so it was a lot of
Yeah, they don't
fun.
have as much movement with
No, I mean
Especially since they don't like you can't place down like jump pads anymore. You can't like rotate super fast.
Right. So I mean, for in the in so in, I mean, in the main thing is I just feel as though it helped the game come back to its prominence because it brought back a lot of old players. Like they now are doing a lot of competitive. They just had a competitive tournament last night with no builds, and like you had Doctor Lupo, Doctor Disrespect, Tim the Tatman, Nick Merckx, Tifu. You had a lot of these big names that usually that left the game to go play something else, which was Warzone, and then Warzone became what it is, and now they're back playing Fortnite. So I think it's.
Do you think it's a long-term thing? Do you think
Oh
those
yeah.
guys are gonna play Fortnite for a
I
little
mean,
while, or do you think
I
they're gonna
mean,
play it while it's big and then go back to their
I think
Warzone and respective games?
I think right now it's a big deal and it's fun and you're gonna have a lot of people playing it. But I think after a while it is Fortnite. It's just like any other battle royale. You're gonna get tired of it eventually. You know
Yeah.
they didn't remove the actual building part of it. They just kept that in and they did just they what I like about the whole situation with the no build mode is that it was a limited time mode and it got really good reception from a lot of people and reviews, and Epic was like, you know what, we'll put this in the game. And it's not like they put in just singles or duos or trios. They put in singles, duos, trios, and quads. So you can play with as many with up to 4 people in the no build mode. And 90% of the people that I see on Twitch and all that kind of stuff that are playing, a lot of them are playing no build. Like, I mean, I know Cypher PK was talking to Nick Merckx about it, and he's like, they were he was he joined their chat, and they were basically like, you're playing the build mode, and he's like, I'm just warming up because I'm gonna try to be in competitive Fortnite and do the build mode in competitive Fortnite. But then he's like, I play 90% of no build. So you got a lot of these guys, a lot of these teams that are playing, or a lot of these people that left coming back and playing Fortnite no build, and it's a lot of fun. It's You don't have to worry about somebody building a fucking
Yeah.
huge building in front
Well,
of
it
you.
ruins an entire skill curve to the game. Like if you don't have to learn how to build and you just can rely on your aim, just like every other game, then
Yeah,
it helps a lot of
yeah,
casual players.
and it's a lot of fun. I mean, there's no negativity about it. There's no, like, I would understand if they were like, we'll remove all building from the game and then we'll just have the no build mode. But it was a good win by um Epic Games to bring that out and to include it instead of the um not just saying it's a limited time mode. Like Apex does.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
so
wish Apex would add more permanent game modes, dude.
oh, yeah, and that's the next topic we're gonna talk about, dude. So what makes me mad with Apex, with Respawn, and all them is that they are doing the same thing over and over and over again every season. Like every 3 months, you come out with a champion, a gun, and some cosmetics, and you update maps. I'm like,
And
you we're at
you pray that it hits that season.
right,
Like they've
but
just
like,
kind of like
how many champions are there now? Like fucking 18 or 20. I'm
yeah,
like,
something like that.
and you have like 4 or 5 that are main competitive, like they get played nonstop and ranked and competitive, and the
Well,
rest
and
of them
it's
are just nothing.
well, and the problem is that every time a new every time a new meta comes out, the entire player base complains and bitches and moans about it
That's very true. They do.
until they nerf the character that gets rid of
Yeah,
that gets rid of the what is it? It's like it's always like a Gibby Bloodhound fucking Wraith or something, right?
yeah,
Gibby Bloodhound something.
yeah.
So that's what it always is. And then when a character comes out that destroys that, then they bitch about it and then
Well,
they ask for it to get nerfed and it's
I
just
don't know when was have you watched any Apex ranked or Apex competitive rates recently at all?
like the LGS?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
I've
so
not.
a lot of them are now because I watch a lot of them play, but now it's Bloodhound or Valkyrie, Gibraltar, and then usually either a caustic or like a wraith. Like, I mean, I also think or sometimes Ash, but legitimately Gibraltar is a must. His bubble, everything like that. That's
Yeah,
a
the
big
entire
thing.
kit's kind of good. It's
And
really good.
and apparently in Apex Mobile, I think there's a bar for the bubble. So like the bubble takes damage and it goes away after a while. So
Really? That
yeah,
would be a
so
good nerf to have just like in the PC one.
yeah, that would be a
Like
great nerf.
make it be like
I mean,
balanced and not so broken on that he's on every single team.
yeah,
Like if there's a consistently that every single team in the lobby has like Gibraltar, I think they need to do something about that character, you know
yeah,
what I mean?
legitimately everybody's running Gibraltar.
Like in Overwatch, like there's I mean that they have a lot more characters and stuff. But like,
Right.
you know what I mean? They there's never like there's never always a Genji on a team. There's never
Right.
always a Widowmaker. There's
Right.
never always like whatever. Like they can play whoever and it's like not necessarily a throw pick or,
It's just like
you know,
it's just like you got Mirage, and don't get me wrong, I understand his abilities are supposed to be invisibility and stuff like
they're
that,
just not good.
but he is
Def-
not good. Like
Well,
I
the
understand,
power creep is definitely gonna be an issue as the game goes on.
and the thing is
Like,
for me, it's like, yeah, his res is nice because it's invisible, but his Q turns into um, whatever it's called, what's it called,
the
his
Mirage.
clones or mirages or whatever they are. And 90% of the time, if you're Bloodhound or if you're somebody else, you can figure out which one he is. Like you instantly shoot it. Okay, it's not him. You
Well,
see
yeah,
another one
because they
running
just
away.
run.
You shoot him. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to make a.
I just and then it's they nerfed Lifeline because then they took away her res shield. I mean, I understand they made it the ability to
I think
um
Lifeline is balanced now. I think it's good now,
she is
honestly.
like Bangalore, like they have not touched Bangalore or done anything. She is the probably the least played character in the game.
Well, yeah,
Least played.
because she gets so easily countered by just a fucking digital threat or
Yeah.
a fucking
and,
bloodhound,
and
which
that's the
most teams
problem.
have. Like we said,
Yeah.
most teams have like a bloodhound or a Valkyrie or something.
But I'm like I'm looking at it like this. I'm like you got they're pushing to bring out all these champions every 3 months. You're gonna have a champion this month. It's called Hardcastle or Newcastle or whatever fuck his name is. I don't know.
But
But
he's not going to change the meta
he's
because
not.
they love their meta so much,
Yeah,
and that's
there and you got people. He's not. He might not make a difference. Like Mad Maggie came out. Her Q shoots a little fire beam that sticks in the wall and it shoots
yeah,
through
that's kind of cool.
through buildings. It's kind of cool, but what's that going to do what's that going to do in
Pro play.
pro play? Like her alt, you throw it down on the ground. Okay, it stuns somebody.
It's just
And it
so
increases your
easily counterable.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's so it's like it's kind of like what are they doing to improve their game? And it doesn't seem like they are.
They're
Do you
Um,
want me to
just
tell you? Do
doing-
you want me to tell you exactly what they're doing?
what?
they're milking the EA money.
Mommy Wraith sells skins.
That's true.
True.
That's what every
Every
game
r-
does.
every Wraith player buys the most expensive skin.
Yeah.
And that's just and their heirlooms.
And and she's been one of the top champions for how long since the beginning of the game? She still kind of is. Like,
Yeah.
not many people play her as much, but she
She
still is one of the better ones.
yeah, she had a little bit of a lull back a couple seasons ago
Another thing
when
that
her Q got like nerfed, but she's still like a meta champion.
yeah,
Just not as broken.
and it needs to evolve. I feel as though they need to stop bringing out champions every season and work on your older champions and make those
Well,
better.
I think
So
they should keep bringing out champions. I don't think that's necessarily the issue, but I think every season they should like take a look at every one of the champions and along with their addition. You know what I mean?
and if they need to rework that champion.
Yeah, like fucking like Bangalore, like her passive makes her run fast and she has a smoke. Like how can you rework Bangalore to be like something in
Better.
the meta?
Yeah.
Yeah, like somewhere better cuz like she's not fucking she doesn't have nearly the amount of abilities that some of these people do like fucking Horizon or like they just have all these passives and stuff that impact the game so much
Right.
more than what Bangalore does or you know any of these
Okay.
characters.
So
Mirage.
what's something you want to see in the game?
What do I want to see in Apex?
Like any ideas? Any like what are like what do you want to see? Like any game modes, anything like that? What do you think needs to be added to the game?
I like solos. I think they should bring that
I
back.
think they should bring
Solos
that too.
was so fun. Solos was
I
solos,
think you
even
should
if
be
it's
able to.
just an LTM. Like even if they were to bring it back as an LTM, I think they just need to bring it back like every once in a while.
Yeah, I think you need to do solos in ranked and put and duos in ranked. You should be able to have all of it. You should be able to play
Oh, dude.
solos and
Yeah.
duos in basically anything.
I think there should be duo ranked. I don't think solos is like I don't think solos works with just like the ranked competitive kind of scene
Yeah,
of a battle royale. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But like I think duos
Duos I think
definitely.
would work better. I think ranked solos wouldn't. I think you'd run into some issues, but duos I think would be great for ranked.
Yeah. Well, I think you'd have issues just at the fact that like um I forgot what I was gonna say. Like solos just doesn't work with like champions that have like different abilities. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like you need to have different champions for different reasons, and you can't have one that's good at all of them
yeah.
for a solo thing.
I mean, I don't really have many ideas that I want to see, but like I want them to be. I want Respawn to bring um the limited time mode out. Like if you're gonna okay, so you have control, which don't get me- which is fun. We've played control. It's a lot of fun. I think you should be able to add more than 3 players to your team to play in control. And
Oh yeah.
also, I think they should make it a permanent mode. And I understand they're rolling it out. They want to test it. They want to see how it goes. But a lot of people have it's got positive feedback. Why wouldn't you bring it out and leave it out and then allow you to play, you know, control and like they may turn it into a ranked control because you got ranked arenas and then you got ranked battle royale. If you come out and you can bring ranked control, you can have you'll have 3 different types of ranked gameplay, and
Well,
that'll
and I
help.
think I think they're trying to avoid like overtaking like Titanfall, obviously, because at what point is it just Titanfall with all these
I mean,
multiplayer?
we're never gonna get a Titanfall 3.
That's
So
true. They might as well
I
make
think
fucking Apex Legends Titanfall, dude.
I think the biggest issue with making the modes permanent is that they don't want to spread their player base even thinner than what it already is to
That's
increase
true.
queue times for like the
true,
main game and stuff.
true.
That's true. It's already falling off a
I
little
mean,
bit.
I would hope that with the new game modes, it would bring more players in. And
Yeah.
that's why I think
They,
the no build
I
mode for
think that's
Fortnite was great was because you bring in old players and new players.
I
And
think that's
what
what the
does
point of all these LTMs are, is to bring in new player base and then hopefully some of them stick. And I
yeah,
think that's what the point of these LTMs are in like
eh,
all the different games.
right. And I mean for me it's like I don't know, I feel as though I think Respawn needs to do something to improve their player base cuz for a while there you could with Fortnite, with people not playing Fortnite as much and with Warzone going down the hill, basically becoming a dumpster fire. Apex you could say was technically on top. And it
I
I
there
mean
was I think there was a little span of 2 or 3 months where Apex was probably doing
I
way
think it was
better
longer
than
than that,
Fortnite and
but
Warzone.
I think it was
You think
longer
it
than
was
that,
longer than that?
but I think with what Fortnite's doing with Warzone 2 coming out this year, I think Apex is going to be put back down to like the third best BR out there, even though the movement and everything is better
Me,
than majority of them, but like you're looking at it, it's not going to be a top. It's gonna not going to be on top again, even if it was for 3 months or 6 months. It's not going to be up there again because you're not evolving, you're not changing the way you do things in your game. Now I mean I could be wrong. Respawn could have some some great ideas for the next couple of seasons. You could be like, oh my god, that brings me back to the game, but I haven't played the game religiously since I think like season 7, and because it just got boring to me and it got the same old thing over and over again, and getting third party every fucking match sucks.
yeah, that's the problem with so many movement characters. I don't know. I don't think it'll like if I'm being 100% honest, I don't have that much faith in any Call of Duty game coming out. So like I don't think Warzone 2 or whatever, I don't think that'll take the number 1 or number 2 spot necessarily. I think.
for a while there, Warzone,
I mean, there's always a big hype when it first comes out, and then they'll
right.
probably, disable something or other with the original Warzone, so they have no choice but to come to the new one. So they have no choice but to make that game a popular
Well,
game. You know what
I
I mean?
mean, so basically going into Warzone, I know, I mean, it's right now it's a dumpster fire. A lot of people are not playing Caldera. They hate that map. I hate that map. A lot of them are doing like the Rebirth, but Warzone for the longest time was number one. It was above Fortnite, and then they it started going downhill because they had so many cheaters in every single one of their games, and they would not they say they claim they have an anti-cheat, but it's nothing. And um you got rid of Verdansk and because people wanted a new map, and then you bring out Caldera, and now Caldera is worse than Verdansk. And they even stated, like Raven Software and all them even stated that Warzone got away from them. They got too much stuff in it. They need to figure that out. I think you're correct. Warzone is going to fall to the wayside once Warzone 2 comes out. You're not going to be able to access anything in Warzone, but that's their aim. They want them, and now I think Infinity Ward is leading the charge on Warzone 2. I don't think Infinity Ward was made Warzone 1. They might have, but I think Infinity Ward and Activision are doing a lot more for Warzone 2, and um a I think it will reclaim the top spot if they do it the correct way. If they don't, I still think Fortnite with the no build mode, even at that time, if they keep adding to it, will still be pretty high up there. I mean, you could technically say that by the time Warzone 2 comes out, if it's mediocre, all three, Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone, could be equal. They could have the equal amount of players. You don't see 90 million people
I
playing.
don't think though. I think Call of Duty will always have more players,
They will.
honestly.
They will.
So
Um
And if they brought back a limited time Verdansk right now to Warzone, I guarantee you it would overtake any other
oh,
BR
it
right now.
it, it
oh,
would.
that's true.
A lot of people liked Verdansk. But the issue is it was stale. That was the same map you had for 2.5, I think, what, 2 years.
What did they like said they like changed the map, but all they did was like
Take it back to
make it
1984.
yeah, like
So, and you added like small little POI changes. So, what do you think is wrong with Warzone, and what do you think needs to change, Anthony?
I I mean, when I played it, it was just every other game I was getting into a game with a hacker. I haven't played it since then, so but I've heard like their
It's gotten
anti-cheat
worse.
like makes it so hackers like don't deal damage and they don't or like they can shoot at you but you don't take damage or something.
I don't know how true that is. We've come across some hackers in our games, and they've shit on us completely. But I've also seen videos of people hacking, and it doesn't do any damage to them. Which, if that's the case, cool. But if your anti cheat's only working 20% of the time, then you're gonna get people that hacked all the time. You know, and I assume that 90% of the people that play the game, oh, I don't want to say 90, 75% of the people that play the game do actually hack. You know, I mean,
Really? I don't
I
think
mean,
that many people hack.
I mean,
I mean,
I've
hacks are
seen,
expensive, dude.
I've
Have you
seen
ever
a
tried to
lot
buy
of.
a hack?
I've never tried to buy a hack. Have you?
No.
Oh, then why'd you say they're expensive? And why do you
They
ask me that
are.
question? Are we putting you on blast right now? Are you trying
Well,
to
I'm
buy
just
hacks?
saying. No, I just was like curious as to how much they would cost, so I looked it
I
up.
don't know. I don't know how much they are. I mean,
But they can be anywhere from fucking $30 to like 200. You
well,
know what
yeah.
I
I
mean?
mean, you're looking at the $200
You
ones that probably do a
you
lot
think
more
these
shit than the $30
casual?
ones.
You
Oh
think
yeah.
most casual players
Oh
are
yeah.
gonna buy a
Oh yeah.
fucking?
Oh yeah. It's all about winning for
I
a lot
know,
of
but
these players.
you're saying most. You're saying 75 to 80%.
Well,
I just
I
don't think that. I just don't think. I don't agree. I
I
don't think that
think
most
I
people.
mean I'm pretty sure I've seen videos on at least 10 Warzone streamers that have been caught cheating in either tournaments or on stream. Like
10?
10, like it's either 10 or
Like
more. I've seen a lot
competitive
of them.
tournament. Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
I'd
but like
say
When you
that you
hear
get a
about
lot more players using Chronos than actual hacks.
true, I think you do
what's
cuz
Chronos, is that the thing where like you get like aimbot but you're using mouse and keyboard or something?
Yeah,
Where you
Chronos
get aim
Zen.
assist.
No, it's basically you hook it up to a controller, and it eliminates. You hook it up to the back of your controller, and you plug it into your computer, and it eliminates recoil, and it will allow you. And it will give you basically aimbot. You just got to set it
Oh,
up
so
on your
it's
computer,
basically just a fucking macro for your controller.
essentially.
Yeah, and I
Oh.
think it can also make it to where like your single shot weapons will basically fire full auto with
Yeah.
the trigger pulls on it.
Yeah,
I had a bind for that in Apex, so when I shot the P20, it was like fucking fully automatic
crazy.
R9.
Um,
Just kidding. I don't think the P20 can actually shoot that fast. I think
and
it's like a limit.
maybe I don't know. Also the time to kill needs to be decreased in that game. It's way too fucking high.
I
Like,
think that's what the issue with Fortnite. That's why they added that energized shield too, right? Like,
I don't know. I
like
didn't
that
play
energized
Fortnite that
shield is the
much.
time to kill thing. So like, I wonder if like just everyone's a pussy and they just can't handle the time to kill in any game.
I mean, look, when I'm standing in a fucking in the open and a dude's on top of a fucking mountain and he beams me straight in the back and I turn around and I'm dead by the time I turn around to shoot him, that's way too fucking fast. I should be able to at least turn around and defend myself and fight, you know? And I I just feel as though it's too fucking high. They need to
This
decrease it.
is that's the problem with all BR games, and why BR games will never actually be legitimately competitive because it's all based on RNG, right? You go into an Apex game and you get a really shit drop, even if you're like fucking AC, right? And you get a really shit drop, you don't get good enough shields, and you run into somebody that has purple or gold shields when you're still on blue,
Yeah,
like they immediately have this huge advantage over you,
That's
especially
true.
in competitive because
and
everybody's
especially
really
at
good.
Pro League because yeah, like I was gonna say, like
Like
you said,
if you look at the most popular and successful competitive games, it's CS:GO. I mean, Valorant. I mean, it's just pretty
League of
much a
Legends is the number one, I believe.
right, right. But like first person shooters, it's just CS:GO, and then Valorant is a knockoff of that essentially
Yeah.
with
And then
abilities.
I would say
And
Rainbow is like another one, but like
but the time to kill on CS:GO is a millisecond because you hit them in the head, they're dead, and there's no RNG,
Right.
right?
it's literally
It's
pure like
it's pure skill. Even I mean, you could say like you can get an advantage with a buying system, but that's all planning and trying to figure out when the best buy is in each round, and it BRs will never be an actual competitive game
yeah,
Yeah,
because
because
it's
because
like
too RNG based.
what Fortnite had the World Cup and some 16-year-old won like
Booga, yeah.
Booga. Yeah, like he's good at the game. Don't get me wrong. He's like a pro, but like when you look at the other names in this 100-person like lobby,
Yeah.
like there's definitely players that are just better, and he got the RNG, and that's
Yeah.
it. And he won the $3 million because of
Yeah.
it.
I mean,
And that's why it's so frustrating as a pro player to play battle royales. I think is like
Well,
that's
it's
why
frustrating as somebody who's bad at the game to play it because
it's also yeah.
it's impossible to get good when you just get shit RNG and you are like at a disadvantage immediately.
so my question to you guys then is, if they were to allow us to spawn in with loadouts and armor, do you think it'd make it better?
See, but they did that. They did
Ooh,
that with Apex with the 3v3 or whatever the fuck that's called,
arenas.
arenas, and it's just
And I like arenas. I think
it's
arenas is fun,
okay.
honestly. I think that would be a good competitive like thing to do for like if Apex were to put some marketing into like a fucking LCS of sorts for arenas, I think that's possible.
I'm surprised they don't have arena teams already playing professionally. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't that's not a thing.
Well, I think it's just because it's not the hot game. It's not, you know.
True. You
If
know, it's
arenas came out first, it would have been like, and then they said, "Oh, here's this battle royale."
it
Nobody
would have
would
been
play the
huge.
battle royale.
Right, right. It would have been arenas. That would all it would have been. It's
And
arenas.
and like you can see this in every other game. So like RuneScape, right? Not a competitive game whatsoever. But once everything went like kind of nuts on Twitch with Fortnite, and they're like, "Oh, we need to get into this competitive field," they made this like limited time game mode, and it was pretty much RuneScape Battle Royale, but still completely based on RNG. Like they've done it like fucking 7 times. Each time, either the person who won was like got really good RNG because there's still like the fog and shit, and they didn't get disconnected from the game. There's always like something wrong with the game in the final minutes, or there's always like this RNG basis, and nobody's ever happy with the outcome because
It's always RNG,
it's
and
always RNG.
if this had happened, then maybe I could have done this better. But like that didn't happen,
Right.
so then you can't. But
And
in games like Rainbow Six Siege, CS:GO, Valorant, like you can control all of these fucking things, and I don't know. I hate RNG. I hate it.
I think RNG is really, it's a really good thing to keep you playing a game for a long time, but not in a short-term game like first-person shooters.
Well, not
RN
in a competitive scene either.
Right, and not in a competitive scene. Like RNG is the only reason people play RuneScape for fucking 7,000 hours. But
I think
Because it's what
it's
1 out of every 10,000 things
right,
sometimes.
like you get that dopamine drip every 1,000 hours and you just keep going. But when you do that over and over again, and fucking bang your head against a wall and die in a first person shooter because you don't get a shield and somebody comes up to you with a purple shield and you're just not, your skill is not like twice as good as theirs because they have double your health. It's just, you can't.
so. You're saying
Yeah.
so basically, if hypothetically speaking, if respawn was like, you know what, we're gonna get rid of every other shield except for red shield, and everybody spawns with a red shield and like a pistol or whatever it is, you think that would make the game better
It
because
does. It doesn't matter because there's still the RNG of the circle.
true,
Do you land where the fucking circle's gonna be? That's the thing is Apex. No matter what they do, it will never be a good and balanced competitive game
true.
ever.
Because you'll always hear of like these teams like who got like TSM in one of the tournaments that I'm thinking of. They got, as they put it, they got fucked by zone, and it's like that's an RNG thing. Like imagine if
Yeah, true.
the zone had gone towards them, then they would have won, and then I don't know.
I'd say Hunt Showdown is one of the few games that got no RNG battle royale correctly.
What's
Because
that one?
so you basically you pick your loadout before you even jump into the game, and you work your way to finding these clues to ends up and leads to a boss layer, and you kill the boss, and the team that extracts with whatever the boss drops, basically gets like credits and wins the game. So basically, everybody's competing to try to defeat these bosses, either first and extract first, or kill the people that killed the boss to take whatever the loot the boss dropped.
That's kind of interesting. I've never seen that before.
And the pacing on it is really well done as well. But the like you were saying with RNG with the other battle royals, you don't really have that with a game like Hunt Showdown. But with
Yeah.
Apex, there's absolutely nothing they can do unless you're basically implementing a like a Call of Duty multiplayer mode, like
Yeah.
Arena or whatever. In which case, you know, it's just multiplayer.
Then you're just playing Call of Duty and nobody gives a
Right.
fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
Exactly.
Then
they're
you
just gonna go to CS:GO
Call of
because
Duty.
it's more refined and everybody's played it. Like all the
CS:GO needs to change too, though.
but like all the pros that came to Apex, they all came from CS:GO, right? And if Apex is just like, hey, we're gonna change this so we get rid of the RNG, it's like, why would you play Apex? Just go back to fucking CS:GO.
True.
True.
It's more refined. It's been out forever. Like there's a huge competitive scene. Like there's no point to even play Apex.
And yeah, they need to do something like.
And the other issue is that people are so afraid of like power spikes in games the uh, like
What do you mean?
you can't introduce a new character because it's gonna be broken every time, right? And the second it's broken, it gets fucking nerfed to the ground and nobody plays it.
Yeah, exactly.
It
Like
happens in
Seer.
every single game. Like you just need to like it is what it is. Like when you started playing Apex, like nobody gave a fuck. But Wraith and Pathfinder and um Lifeline were just fucking broken, right? That's all everybody played, but nobody cared because that's how the game was when it came out. But now that
Yeah,
it's been out forever, every new character, every new balance, like the second it's like not 100% balanced, everybody bitches and
bitches
moans.
moans about it. Yeah, I remember fucking Apex like preseason one, season one. Like that was like
Peak
the best
Apex.
time. That was like, yeah, that was like the most fun I'd ever had playing a game was during that time.
Yeah, I'd agree. So going to Warzone 2, which is gonna come out in November, is there? And I know you don't play Warzone that much, Anthony, but is there anything you want to see in that game that would bring you to play that?
I would say to like the 150 person like size things was like it was a interesting idea at the beginning
Yeah.
when they had such like a like it was unheard of to have that
You
big
think
of a
it's too many
lobby.
people?
I think it ended up it's just too many people. I think
Yeah.
if it were to be, 50 to 100, maybe like something like that. And the size of the map also plays into it. Like if they have 150 people but the map is, you
Huge.
know,
Then I mean, it's not a
huge,
big deal. But like if they're
but
have
if it's
150 people
too
and it's
big,
tiny,
even then,
yeah,
yeah, like but even then you have the issue of like
you
everyone
might not
landing in
see
one
anybody.
spot and then
Right.
you don't see anybody until the end game, kind of like Apex, and
Yeah.
that's the problem with that. But
I
I
mean,
think
really
I think less people, maybe a little bit smaller of a map, so the matches aren't half an hour long.
true. I mean, I guess I could see um for me Warzone 2 is the time to kill maybe decrease a little bit. And then like you said, like map size and amount of people playing the game in
And
each
I
in
I
each
don't like how they have the XP thing for the weapon attach. Like unless you buy the multiplayer thing and like grind some XP and do the challenges or whatever you need to do to get the
takes
loadouts,
a long time
I
to level up
don't.
weapons.
It takes a shit ton of time,
Yeah.
and it depends
Well,
on.
they do that for a reason because they want you to buy the fucking multiplayer.
Well, yeah, they want you to buy the multiplayer, they want you to buy the battle pass, they want you to get these blueprints and all that. So it's all these microtransactions, but like
How do you feel about buying battle passes in games, and do you think they should be in there?
battle passes.
Yeah,
I mean,
because
they're
Fortnite
brilliant
has one.
idea.
Fortnite
I
has one.
mean,
Apex has one. Warzone has one. PUBG has one. Like even fucking League of
Clash
Legends has one.
Royale
Like
has one, Clash of Clans has
everybody's
one.
coming out with
Like,
some sort of like battle pass that you get shit from, right?
yeah, I think that's not. I think it's a good idea to make money for
If it's
sure.
executed
I don't
correctly, I
think it's
think it is.
a bad idea. I think if they, release broken weapons or broken, some like if imagine if in Apex Legends you bought the battle pass and you got a blueprint of a gun that you can only get if you fucking buy the battle pass. I don't know, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's just broken.
yeah,
And it's just not paid. I don't agree with pay to win. I don't care about cosmetics and stuff. Like
yeah.
if somebody wants to buy a battle pass for skins and shit, then do it.
Uh huh.
But if it as soon as it comes like pay to win, then it's just not fun anymore. Because then I
Okay.
could just go play a mobile game and do the same thing.
So, moving on to our next topic. Have you watched any anime lately? And if you have, what have you been watching? And or also, have you watched anything and say it needs another season, but it hasn't gotten one, and there's nothing that they're talking about?
Hunter x Hunter, dude. Hunter x Hunter needs a new season, but
That's
it's
I
not gonna
heard.
happen.
I heard they were trying to make another one for that. I haven't
I
watched it
I
though.
heard that for a second too, but I think it was just a little bit of a troll thing because the guy that like is the author of it like is like dying of cancer or something,
Oh wow.
or he's been sick of something for like ever, like 20 years, and hasn't written anything. But the way they left it off makes it to where it ends like it's a good ending point, but
Yeah.
like there could be so much more because just the characters are so young and there's so much more character development to go.
Yeah. And
You
what
know,
sucks is a lot of these animes that are continuing or that aren't continuing have manga written for them so you could potentially make more seasons, you know?
it's true.
It's like
Yeah,
so, we got so I've read all of Bleach and I know that they're coming out with the new season of Bleach hopefully at the end of this year. It might be beginning of next year. But for the longest time, for like 10 years, we didn't even think this was going to happen. Now it is. So that one you necessarily can't say hasn't gotten one. It feels it needs another one. Now they're going to close that out, which is great. But at the same time, all right. What did I type in? Oh, oops, I typed that wrong one. So I feel as though that's like one of the things that, you know, I don't know. There's multiple ones that, all right, boys. See you guys later. God damn it, I'm typing on the wrong fucking keyboard. Anyways, so what can I say? Lost my train of thought. I mean, I don't know if there's really anything that I've actually watched or enjoyed that I have wanted to think needs another season, but I don't know. It just I haven't watched it much lately. Um, Fairy Tail's over. Demon Slayer's already done its 2 seasons. Bleach is coming out with its final season. There's really not much I've watched. I need to just watch more to be able to understand what I'm looking for.
Yeah. You should. A good way to get a lot of animes is to watch like the 3 season. There's a bunch of like 3 to 5 season long animes.
Yeah.
Like Tokyo Ghoul, like Attack on Titan's like what 4 or 5 seasons right now.
I think Attack on Titan's about 3 seasons, but I think third season is split into two, so they're like doing like 2 or 3 parts of it.
Oh, okay, but you know what I mean. Like there's a bunch of animes that are pretty short that get you all culturized, but also or don't take fucking 1,200 episodes to get to the point.
Right. What's a future show, anime, or movie you're looking forward to see?
I've been seeing a lot of One Piece recently, so I think I'm kind of excited to start watching that.
It's gonna be a lot of fucking.
popping
It's
up on
gonna be a
my
lot of.
Instagram.
That's gonna be a lot of episodes. It's like it's over 1,000 episodes.
Well, that's why I'm gonna read it because the way Randall explained it was that there's just so much filler in each episode, just
Yeah.
from you know recaps and stuff like that. So I might just read it and it'll go faster.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know of any other future anime that are coming up that I've actually like seen that's like, ooh, this is gonna come out. I guess for me, it's just I'm waiting for a lot of these the anime that or the anime that I've been the manga that I've been reading or the anime to catch up to them because I've read all of Demon Slayer, so I know how Demon Slayer ends, and I watched both the Mugen Train arc and the
Wait,
entertainment.
so
Go ahead.
even past where
The manga's done for Demon Slayer.
like they're like done.
Done.
So where I've watched up to in the anime, I've watched up to where why can't I remember the main character's name? What is my problem?
Tanjiro.
Tanjiro is fighting the demon bitch on the roof, and he
Yes.
like cut off her like towelettes,
Sash or whatever that thing is. Yeah.
patches. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so no, there's a lot more fighting after that. A lot more. But like
Really? Because he just kind of fucked her up. He like cut off her head.
yeah, and she hasn't died, has she?
That's also true. She hasn't died yet.
And why is
How
that?
does he cut off her head and not kill her?
You want me to tell you?
Does she like regrow her body out of her head? I don't
Nope.
know. Fucking.
Nope.
Don't
I can tell you.
me. Actually, tell me. Fuck it. Tell me.
That demon is 2 demons.
Mhm.
Her brother is inside her. So when he cuts off her head, her brother comes out and it's 2 demons versus the demon slayers.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Right.
And her
That's where I just got
brother's
to is
insanely
that the people got out of the hole.
yeah, her brother's insanely strong. And
What upper level is he? Is he like upper level like
he's
1 or 2 or something?
they're the same. They're the same, but they're
Oh.
like an upper 5 or whatever it is. They're the same number, but she basically was the host body and he came out of her and that's why she doesn't die. They have to behead both of them to be able to kill her. To be able to kill them. They have to behead them at the same time.
Oh, really? So
Yeah.
like not even like one and then the other. It's like you have to
Well,
do
I
it at the
mean,
same.
technically it can be one. Like you can behead one as long as the head's not able to be reattached. Then you can behead the other one. But the way they beat them is they behead both of them at the same time. I mean, the fights are dope. I mean, I read the manga, so I know how far. And I finished the whole thing, so I know how it ends. And I will tell you one thing: the anime itself, Demon Slayer, the animation's great, the fights are great, and just watching it animated is 10 times better than reading it in the manga. As much as I'm happy I know how it ended, I'm actually extremely happy at how they are animating the show because it is insane. It's great.
Yeah. No, their animation is just out of this world. It's
It is.
crazy.
It
It's
is.
so good. Like just I don't know. What other I can't think of another anime that like has that
Good of
good of animation and like the way that they can put like emotions into like
Yeah,
the actual animation is just kind
yeah.
of crazy. Like
It
cuz
is.
I don't know if it's emotion, I don't know if it's the animation or the fucking soundtracks, but it's just like it makes you feel a certain way, you know?
Yeah, it does. Gets you emotionally charged.
Yeah. It's pretty good. The way they did it. It's pretty smart.
It is. So this weekend I watched WrestleMania 38. Probably the first WrestleMania I've actually watched in years because I used to watch WrestleMania a lot, wrestling a lot when I was like 15 years ago when I was younger.
So
Um,
you watched wrestling or you watched wrestle like WWE?
like WWE WrestleMania is the big thing
Okay.
for them every year. Um,
Yeah.
and my impressions were you had a couple good matches, and then after that, it was just kind of shit. I didn't like the main event card between your two big people was Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and they both each had a title, they had a championship. So I think Brock Lesnar had the WWE championship, and then Roman Reigns had the Universal Championship. It was probably 11:30 when the match was going to start. So I'm like, okay, so if this is supposed to technically go 6 hours, you're looking at a half-hour match, which is not a bad match, but you'd expect like your main event, like the big one that you keep hyping up, you'd expect that to go like 45 minutes to an hour. And I understand that's a lot to be in ring, and I understand it is fake to a certain extent. But you're expecting it to go for like an hour. It literally went 13 fucking minutes.
Well,
You
and I think the way that things are going is that like Brock Lesnar and like the other guy just don't bring in the amount of views that these younger guys do. And so I think they probably put more of their money and their time into the show to those younger guys like coming into the WWE bringing in a new fan base. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of people still like the whole like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns stuff, but for me, it's just you hype it up so much and you make it you do all this huge storyline, and then for it to end in 12 minutes,
That's
where
true.
Roman Reigns wins it and he unifies the championships, you're like, well, what the fuck? Like you're now legitimately sitting there saying like, what um what the hell's going on, and that was the biggest thing. The Stone Cold Steve Austin came back this one to fight Kevin Owens, and Kevin Owens uses his stunner, his finisher move, and he challenged Stone Cold Steve Austin, and they fought, and it was a good fight. It was good to see him in there, but it's not the same. It just a lot of these watching these newer WrestleManias and wrestling shows makes me realize how old I am, because when I was growing up, I was, I was part of the, late part of the Attitude Era. I was 10 years old when the Attitude Era came out in WWE, which was 1998, 1999. And you had like The Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H. You had all Ric Flair, all these older wrestlers that were phasing out, and you got new ones coming in. And so I grew up with like majority of the wrestlers that are retiring now. I grew up with them. So seeing these new guys come out, it's kind of like it's not as much fun for me to watch it. Now, I mean, I will admit, I do want to go to a WrestleMania for the experience alone because I think it'd be cool. But I felt you had some good matches on Saturday. You had a couple matches okay on Sunday, but like a lot of the shit was predictable. Like there was a match where so Seth Rollins is a wrestler. He was pushed heavily like 4 or 5 years ago, and he's kind of changed up his character, or whatever. And he was making a big deal, and of course it's a storyline, so he's making a big deal to I'm gonna be in WrestleMania. I'm gonna do whatever I can to get to WrestleMania. Blah blah. Blah. And then they show a text message of Vince McMahon saying, "Hey, come see me in my office." He goes to Vince's office. Vince is like, "Look, if you just wanted to be in WrestleMania, you should have just said something to me. I would have put you in it. It's not a big deal. You're an important part of this whole this WrestleMania is not the same without you." And he's like, "Sweet." And Vince is like, "Well, I get to choose your opponent." And Dusty Rhodes is a old wrestler. His son Cody Rhodes is his youngest son. He was in AEW, which is All Elite Wrestling, which is another wrestling promotion that started and is televised and all that kind of stuff. And he started that. He left and he came back to the WWE, and he signed a multi-year contract. And he was gonna have a match at WrestleMania. So when you brought Seth Rollins out there and he's sitting out there in the ring waiting for his opponent to come out, I'm like, it's Cody Rhodes. I'm like, that's the only that's why would you say it's the opponent I'm gonna choose, and then not put two and two together and be like, it's Cody Rhodes. He's coming out here to wrestle Seth Rollins, and I was correct. It was, and like I just feel as though like a lot of this stuff has become predictable. I don't know if it's because it's my age or if it's because the writing's just become so bad that it's predictable. And so that's where I was at with my impressions, and that's really all I'm going to say about WrestleMania 38, just because it really didn't sit well with me.
You didn't really like it all that much.
Not
I
that
didn't
much. It was
watch it. I saw like some clips and it looked pretty hype from like the clips on Instagram I saw, but
I mean, the Logan Paul, Rey Mysterio and the Miz and Dominic Mysterio match. That whole thing was cool. To see Logan Paul do it. He looked impressive, like because he was athletic and he was pulling off moves and all that kind of stuff. But you know, it's the same thing with that whole scenario. Like, what's it like? The Miz, the Miz's finisher is the skull crushing finale, and you basically slam somebody into the mat. And he did that to Logan Paul after they won the game, or after they won the match. And to me, it's kind of like,
he did that to
well,
Logan Paul after they both won the match.
yeah. So it was a tag team match. So
He
he
betrayed
betrayed
Logan
Logan
Paul,
Paul. Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
What the fuck? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he did that, and so Logan Paul's like, "What the fuck are you like? Why'd you do that?" And I kind of feel as though they're trying to write a storyline in where like Logan Paul's gonna wrestle the Miz, and you know, and whatnot, and it's gonna be like this whole storyline and thing like that. And I'm like, that's cool and all, but it's just I don't know. I'm not impressed by it.
I think that has like
Potential to be good.
objectively, I think objectively, The Miz and Logan Paul like fighting each other. Like Logan Paul can sell shit. Like he's a
He can.
great marketer.
Yeah.
Like he's a great influencer,
Yeah.
great like marketer. Like he knows how to get shit out there to get
Yeah.
and then also get people to buy it.
Yeah.
So I think like if WWE is starting to collab with like social media influencers, I think WWE is ahead of the curve in like the sports game
True.
because the sooner you realize that like these kids that are like 14, 15 years old watch these fucking YouTubers every day, right?
Yeah.
If this YouTuber collabs with a fucking WWE, those millions of subscribers that those automatically become fucking WWE. Or not
Yeah.
automatic. There's obviously like, it's probably not 100%. It's probably closer to like 10 to 15% transition. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you're talking to like Logan Paul, 20 million plus subscribers,
Yeah.
next it's gonna be Mr. Beast is gonna be a fucking
That'd
WWE
be
wrestler,
crazy. But
and
I
then
mean, I understand what you're saying. I mean, it'd be cool to see some people in there, but I mean, at this point, I don't pay attention to it much. I watch videos on YouTube. I just so happen to watch wrestling, and I understand. Look, I fell for the thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming back at WrestleMania 38, so of course you want to watch that. You want to see him, so you're gonna have people that tune in more that are gonna watch that because you want to see it. So they end up watching the whole thing. So that was that. Um, but for the most part, I just I'm not huge. I'm not massively into it. And those are my impressions.
Yeah.
So is there anything you
I've
want to
never
talk
really
about?
liked WWE just because, like, it always, every time I told somebody in high school that I, like, wrestled, it was always like, oh, are you gonna go WWE when you're older or whatever? And I'm like, oh my fucking God, bro. So
Uh,
I've always had this, like, hatred for
or because people think
WWE.
you're gonna go into it.
Well, yeah, it's like they just equate wrestling with, like, fucking that.
Yeah,
Because I guess the alternative is sweaty men groping each other on the floor, but
true.
but I guess that's the one I preferred. I don't know, dude.
So anything else? Is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. I
You have
mean,
any
I think
topics?
we got a that's a good amount of topics that we covered. I think that was
Okay,
a
and
good
then
first episode, and then next episode I'll bring some more stuff.
bring some more stuff. Finally, is there any anime movie or real movie that we should watch, and why?
Tokyo Ghoul. That's one that you should watch. I
Why
mean,
is
I
that?
recommend this to everybody. It's just such a it's a little bit darker of an anime, but it's like it pulls at your heartstrings a little bit. It makes you like it brings you into the characters more, so you're a lot more involved with their character development along with the story, and it's only 3 seasons long. So
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I
they
don't
do a lot
really.
of good character development in 3 seasons. Just skip season 2. Just don't
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Don't watch season. That one's a little weird, but
I guess for
and
me, I guess I need to watch Hunter x Hunter, so that gives me something to talk about. Um, and for real movies, I guess I could say I haven't seen the new Spider-Man movie and I haven't seen the new Batman movie, but I've heard good things about both of them, and so I'm excited to go watch those. I'm probably gonna try
Spider-Man
to watch
movie
those.
was good.
What's up?
The Spider-Man movie was good. I just
Yeah,
went and saw that.
I think I'm gonna watch. I think I'm gonna watch the new Batman movie here in this upcoming week, so we got something to talk about and whatnot, and try to get some more
Dude,
in
we could
depth.
watch it together, bro.
We could watch it together, watch new shows and all that kind of stuff. But I think that's it for today. I think that was a good podcast that we had there. My name's Blake, and this is the Anything Goes
I'm
podcast,
Anthony.
and that's Anthony. He's my co-host. The other two were James and Carson. They might be in some, they might not be. It just might be me and him, or it just might be me, or it just might be him. Just depends on if how much our schedule's available and free. If you guys liked this and want to see more, hear more, just hit that like button or follow button or subscribe button or wherever I post this. I appreciate it all. And we will see
Turn
you
those
guys next time.
notifications on.
But yeah, turn the notifications on. Other than that, guys, I appreciate the time and we will see you later. Bye.